Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing another video today. This video is about Star Wars and my turning against the franchise very early on. Battery alert. I have to clear it up. So this perspective is probably not as common nowadays, especially with younger people, but as I'm old AF, my God. You're old AF. Are you hitting on me? You're old enough to be my, like, great-grandfather. I was just making fun. And as far as my opinion, it developed because I was a big Star Wars fan as a kid. And I still like the classic trilogy. I like the remixes that are available if you look around, you know, of the original 3, you know, editions. Because they're not special editions, they're extra special editions where they took away the crap that was put in later. And as far as like a point of where I departed or where I leave off, and it's kind of a convoluted, it's not convoluted, it's more nuanced than what you would expect. But pretty much what happened was, I saw the prequel, actually I think I saw all 3 prequels in the theater, and I also saw the special editions in the theater. But the point where I cut off is like about 95, 96. And that's around the time where, you know, the first shots, the promo shots of the prequels were coming out, and that's around the time of the special editions. Now, Shadows of the Empire was cool, you know, that whole like, almost like movie without a movie with all the merchandising and books and stuff and toys. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think a lot of the EU, you know, the extended universe as they used to call it, is cool, right? I thought it was cool. And I still think a lot of some of the books that came out, even maybe some of them now, you know, some of the comics and stuff are pretty cool. You know, it depends on what, you know, what frame of reference you use, or, you know, what part of the lore you consider canon or not. I think everybody has a right to consider their own, you know, their own definition of what canon is. So for one, the thing that bothers me about the prequels, I think the prequels majority kind of sucked. It was just, there's a lot of problems with the prequels. And there's a lot of problems with how the lore and the actual canon got to be mixed up in regards to everything. Because, for example, midi-chlorians, that's pretty much my cutoff point. With that, and with a lot of the special edition new scenes, done. You know, no more Star Wars for me. It's over. There are some exceptions. The first season of Mandalorian I quite like. You know, things like that I like, you know. Some of the EU stuff that came out even after those points of reference as far as prequels and stuff. I like some of the extended universe novels and stuff, and some of the comics, and, you know, some of the stories that came out. I'm sure I'd like, sort of like Clone Wars, maybe some of the stuff that came out with that. But yeah, I think I pretty much, with a few exceptions, you know, I cut off because midi-chlorians, so I'll explain why it's such a threat to me. Is because people of my generation growing up watched Star Wars, and we read about Uri Geller and all these people, and like, well, maybe it's true. Maybe there are psychic abilities, you know, telepathy, and, you know, psychokinesis and stuff. So what we would do is we would, as a little kids, when we watched, after we watched Empire Strikes Back, especially, and Return of the Jedi, we would like look at like books or like a block, like a brick or something. We like, maybe I could raise it with my mind, you know? And there's this fantasy, this, you know, and that's how we played Star Wars. And I had a fake lightsaber growing up, and I thought it was a Jedi. But once they made it like this weird, like, genetic lineage, that eliminated that fantasy. Now, the second movie in the sequel trilogy, Last Jedi, actually had a little bit of a glimpse of that Generation X, young millennial, you know, sort of thing that, or old millennial, I should say, older millennial / Generation X sort of thing, where at the end of the movie, you had these kids like levitating stuff, and it was kind of like, I saw that people hated that movie and hated the director and stuff, but I saw that as kind of carrying on a little bit of that fantasy of that tradition. That's why I sort of liked The Last Jedi more than the other sequels in some ways, and I know it was hated, you know, really hated. Rian Johnson is seen as the bane of Star Wars, along with Jar Jar Abrams, as they call him, you know. But I saw that part of it as carrying on a little bit of that twinkling of the little bit of that stuff, and that's why I didn't hate it completely like a lot of other people did. So when you take that, you know, they make it into this thing, and with me, Star Wars and the Force and the lore and canon was always about, oh, well, it's this ancient religion and you have to study and you have to train, and you can, anybody, maybe there are more people that are a little more Force sensitive. Okay, let's just bend the rules a little bit that way. But for me, it was like anybody can do it. So as a kid, I was fantasizing about being a Jedi. And then I was fantasizing about being the reincarnation of Optimus Prime a little bit shortly after that. After he died. It's like in another universe, like I'm Optimus Prime, you know, or Rodimus Prime or whatever, you know. It was kind of something you do as a kid. You just had these imaginary kind of ideas. So that was kind of what I thought. And it ruined it, this midi-chlorians and just how bad some of the acting was and for the prequels, of, even though Natalie Portman is just off the charts. I mean, Jesus Christ. Even now she looks really good too. Sorry to say that. So to say, oh, why would you not think her? She's hot. Now, are you against a certain age group of women? Are you sexist? No, whatever, you know. But you're antiquated, whatever, you know, you might criticize me for that. But yeah, that's how I feel about Star Wars. I just thought about it because, you know, there's all this controversy and hoopla over the Disney Star Wars, which I didn't even consider. I saw the first movie in the theater, the first sequel movie, and then I saw the other ones later on, you know, home media. So I don't consider it canon after Shadows of the Empire, but I take some of the stuff, like, you know, some of the video games too, you know, Knights of the Old Republic video games, stuff like that. You can take some of the, I parse some of that out and put it in the canon, but take a lot of the prequel stuff out of the canon in my head. And especially midi-chlorians bullshit. It's like, I don't get it. It's like, why do you have to scientifically explain all this stuff? It's not Star Trek, George, you know. You don't have to scientifically make it more mystical, make it more Joseph Campbell, like, archetypes like he used to do. But he kind of changed his mind. Oh, I'm an atheist, so I have to, like, put in all this stupid scientific stuff, that this mumbo jumbo. And Star Trek, I love the original Star Trek and, you know, Next Gen and stuff. But, like, oh, we're gonna have to, like, make it, like, scientific. So I'm gonna have to put midi-chlorians on it, and genetic explanation for the powers that people have. Oh, my chin is, like, down there. Oh, fuck you. You know? So, I really hated that stuff. I thought it was stupid. And I thought some of this stuff was just awful. And, you know, you can remix Revenge of the Sith and the first two movies, take out all the crappy parts, maybe. There has been, like, remixes of those two. Remixes of those movies too. I think they just scrap the whole thing, start a new Star Wars. Even this Disney Star Wars, just scrap it. Have someone else buy it that's better, you know, and do new Star Wars and make it better, you know. And, you know, the girl boss thing, it's just overdone now, you know, like the new series. It's like everything has to be a girl boss, you know. And you're a sexist pig by not wanting female empowerment. Yeah. And there's certain maybe relatives that might think that secretly, or think I'm like some kind of crazy, you know, conspiracy right-winger or something, you know, with or some people that might think, you know, this or that about me. But no, it's not that I don't like female empowerment. It's just that when that's all there is coming out in media. That's what I don't like. You have to have a balance. And, you know, I have some beliefs, maybe, that it's unrealistic to think that there would be that many females into a certain field or profession or idea, you know, because I think women and men are different. Sorry. I'm a chode, I'm sorry. I'm a weak beta male. I'm just gonna say I'm sorry. No, it's just the truth. So, but do I think, I mean, Princess Leia was a badass, you know, and you know, I don't think there should be, Mara Jade's a badass. That's out of the extended universe. That was Luke's wife, redhead, of course. You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I like about, you know, girl boss, but you have to have, just like the Barbie things, like it has to be this neoliberal capitalist girl boss, right? You're head of a CEO, you're a CEO, like with some of this modern stuff, or the allegories there, even with Star Wars. I'm a badass, I'm cold and stoic like men that do this stuff. Fuck off, you know? So I hate all that stuff. I'm just going on a rant about that, which I'll talk about in the future too, but I gotta do other stuff today other than do videos. So yeah. So yeah, the Star Wars thing, you know, I part and parcel it out. I mean, thankfully Transformers, one of the positive things about Transformers is the idea that you can part and parcel things out. You can take a little bit of this and that, because there's so many different series. It's almost like a multiverse in a way. There's Prime, there's G1, there's G2, which wasn't really G2. There's Headmasters, which kind of retconned the American series. There's Brave, there's Robots in Disguise. There's all sorts of, just so many multiple variations of Transformers that you can selectively like one or the other. Star Wars, they try to tie it all together. And I think they should stop. They should just say, this is Star Wars, and this is Star Wars, but it's different than this. It's different than that. It's different than this. You know, it's all different. Transformers, they did a great job at that. So you could selectively say, fuck the Bayverse, but G1's great, as imperfect as it could be. But you can also like Prime, which I do, even though it's kind of comes from the Bayverse in a way, because of some of the same writers. But it was decent writing for some reason. They could do TV. Those bad robot people associated with that can do TV way better than movies, in my opinion. And you could do, you know, you can like that, and you can like, you know, you can like the Headmasters, the Japanese series, or Transformers Victory with Starsaber. You can like that, but not like a new one, or like Beast Wars, but not like Beast Machines. You know, you can mix and match with Transformers and some other franchises like that, but you can't do that with Star Trek and Star Wars, because it's all considered canon. They tried to do a multiverse in Star Trek, at least. They should do it in Star Wars, in my opinion, as well. As played out as the multiverse thing is, it would make fans a lot happier to think, well, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that was this other universe for the original trilogy, and some of the other stuff did happen, both universes or whatever. But in this other universe, the lame, you know, the lame Rey is in this lame universe, you know. So anyways, that's about all.